All right. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We are back. Continuing with our look at the triennial Torah portion. We were down in was we in Baltimore? We was near Baltimore, I guess, last week for the Youth on Fire conference. Seemed like we was gone for a month. Seemed like we've been gone for so long. But we back. We are going to be looking at today Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 22. Genesis chapter 22. We'll be talking about the testing of Avraham, the binding of Isaac. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead, get right to it. So let me pull up the scriptures. We don't want to. There we go. We'll go ahead and pull up Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 22. Put that up here on the screen here. We'll go ahead and read through the entire chapter, and then we'll go back and discuss some of the key points that we want to deal with for today. So go ahead and read for us nice and loud, starting with verse 1.
And it came to be after these events that Elohim tried Abraham and said to him, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Take your son now, your only son Yitzchak, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as an ascending offering on one of the mountains which I command you. And Abraham rose early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took 2 of his young men with him and Yitzchak his son. And he split the wood for the ascending offering and arose and went to the place which Elohim had commanded him. And on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted his eyes and saw the place from a distance. So Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey while the boy and I go over there and worship and come back to you. And Abraham took the wood of the ascending offering and laid it on Yitzchak his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and the 2 of them went together. And Yitzchak spoke to Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, See, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for an ascending offering? And Abraham said, My son, Elohim does provide for himself the lamb for an ascending offering. And the 2 of them went together. And they came to the place which Elohim had commanded him. And Abraham built a slaughter place there and placed the wood in order. And he bound Yitzchak his son and laid him on the slaughter place upon the wood. And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the messenger of Yahweh called to him from the heavens and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not lay your hand on the boy, nor touch him. For now I know that you fear Elohim, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted his eyes and looked and saw behind him a ram caught in a bush by its horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up for an ascending offering instead of his son. And Abraham called the name of the place Yahweh Yireh, as it is said to this day, on the mountain Yahweh provides. And the messenger of Yahweh called to Abraham a second time from the heavens and said, By myself I have sworn, declares Yahweh, because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, that I shall certainly bless you, and I shall certainly increase your seed as the stars of the heavens and as the sand which is on the seashore. The seashore. What? The seashore. And let your seed possess the gate of their enemies. And in your seed, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed because you have obeyed my voice. Then Abraham returned to his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to be after these events that it was reported to Abraham, saying, See, Milcah too has borne children to your brother Nahor. Utz, his firstborn, and Buz, his brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram, and Kesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Yidlaf, and Bethuel. And Bethuel brought forth Ribkah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Reumah, also bore Tebah and Gaham and Tahash and Ma'akah.
All right. Okay, very good. All right, let's go back up here to the top and look at some of these things that we see over here. All right. First of all, we see over here after these events that Elohim tried Abraham. He tried Abraham. This is the first thing we want to look at here. If we look here, where King James even says he did tempt Abraham. And so that word there is nasa, to test, by implication, to attempt, adventure, I say, prove, tempt, or try. And so when we think about this word here, nasa, which means to test or to try or to prove, we think about the fact that, when you take a test, you take it to kind of gauge your level of knowledge of the previously learned things, right? You take a test not to diminish you in any way. You take a test in order to kind of gauge and have an understanding as to whether or not you were able to actually grow and learn from the things that were previously given to you. And so when we look at Abraham, he's went through these faith testing trials previously. He experienced these various situations and opportunities where his faith in the power of the Most High was tested. And so we see here, when we look at the life of Abraham kind of in his entirety, this is kind of his final test, right? This is his what they take whenever this is his dissertation over here. This is the thing that gets him to the highest level of manifestation of his faith. And so we see over here when we look at this idea, that we when we think about testing, when we think about trying, it's a integral part to our life as people who follow after the Most High. Um, the Most High wants to see. He wants to see. He wants you to see. The thing is, he already knows, right? He knows the end from the beginning. But we have to experience and know. The test is for ourselves, right? If you had a teacher who already knew your heart and your mind, you'd be able to understand that you taking a test would be for your knowledge. You could say you know a thing until you have like the question in front of you, right? You can say that you're experienced in this or that until the practical application of this or that becomes necessary, and you have to do it. Something interesting happened, the other day. Somebody that we, at the job got a flat tire, right? And so the guys, they all got their little tools and everything. And so the guys jumped out like a pit crew and began to help the guy change his tire. And I'm sure everyone there changed tires 100 times. Well, maybe between everyone there, maybe they changed tires 100 times. But everyone knows, or everyone should know, when changing a tire, you got to loosen up them lug nuts first, and then raise up the tire. You loosen up the lug nuts, and then you raise up the tire. But these guys, well, people that change tires, but these guys have all these. He got out the hydraulic pump. He hurried up and pumped up the car, and then he started to loosen up the tires. Well, you can't. It's the wheel spins. It don't work. Like it don't. You can't do it like that. He did it kind of in reverse. I don't know if it was just like if they felt like there was some kind of sense of urgency, which there wasn't. Like it was the end of the day. We're just going home. I don't know what it was, but saying all that just to say, sometimes in the heat of the moment, you don't do the things that you supposedly know. And so what we see here again is a testing of Abraham. I want to look over at, let's go over to James. Because we want to talk about testing. James, look at, let's see, chapter 1. Chapter 1, read verses 12 down to 15.
Blessed is the man who does endure trial, for when he has been proved, he shall receive the crown of life, which the master has promised to those who love him.
Hold on. It said, blessed is the man who endures the trial or the test. Blessed is the one who endures. Why is it going to be blessed? For when he has been proved, he's proved through the endurance of the trial. Right? He's proved through the endurance of the trial. And then he's able to receive the crown of life. Many of us can say, well, yes, I've been walking for such and such a years, and the Most High has called me back in 19 such and such. But have you endured trials? Because that's the place where these things really your walk is proven, right? If you you can go and you can prepare for this or for that, for however long you're going to prepare for it. But until those skills, that knowledge is put to the test, how can, any of those things be, proven? They must be put to the test. And so we see over here, where it talks about here in James, that blessed is the man who not only has these trials, but endures the trials. And through these trials, he's proved. And when he's proved, he receives this crown of life. What's it say? Keep on going. 13.
13 says, let no one say when he is enticed, I am enticed by Elohim. For Elohim is not enticed by evil matters, and he entices no one. But each one is enticed when he is drawn away by his own desires and trapped. Then, when desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it has been accomplished, brings forth death.
Mm-hmm. So we see a difference between something that has a negative end and something that has a positive end. The thing that the Most High is doing, we're looking at this word is in the English is entice, but the idea here is or test, or what's it say in the King James here? Tempted. Let him not say when he is tempted, I am tempted. It's the same word here. But the thing that the Most High, so it says, when let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of Elohim, for Elohim can't be tempted with evil, neither does he tempt with evil. And so when we talk about the idea of what it is that the Most High is doing to you, we can't look at it and think as if he's doing a thing that's he's trying to injure us. He's not. Yes, he's not. He's never. The things that he's doing are not for the purposes of our injury, but they're for the purpose of our growth, so that we're able to grow and be tried and be tested. When we think about Israel in the wilderness for those 40 years, it says that in Deuteronomy, I think it's chapter 8, he talks about the fact that in the I don't gotta try to think about what it says. I could just go over to it. It's Deuteronomy 8. Oh, here we go. Deuteronomy. Read 1 and 2.
Guard to do every command which I command you today, that you might live and shall increase, and go in and shall possess the land of which Yahweh swore to your fathers. And you shall remember that Yahweh your Elohim led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness to humble you.
That's what you was in the wilderness for, right? He said he led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness to
Humble
so
you.
that you could, for the purposes of what did it say?
Humble you, prove you, to know what is in your heart, whether you guard his commands or not.
Okay, we have to look and understand and know that the same thing that he did with Abraham is the same thing that he does with the children of Israel. His seed that came out from him is the same thing, the same process that Yeshua actually as a man went through, and the same thing that you and I go through is that we must have our wilderness experience, our binding of Isaac experience, where our faith is tested and tried. Okay. All right, let's go back over and look at a few more things here because we want to further think about this as an idea because it's very important. It's very important for us to understand that trials, testings are a very important aspect to our life. Oh, as we go here, let's go back over to James real quick because it's interesting that they put the way they put these two things together here. Hold on, James. One, because we can see the difference between something that the Most High would be doing, testing you, trying you, um, seeing where you are in your situation, seeing if your actions are able to line up with your words. But the negative aspect that it goes to when you look at 14 and 15 are things that go in inside of your own mind, right? I'm not able to say, well, the Most High was testing me and he sent me to a brothel to see if I was able to withstand advances from people that are. That's something that happened inside of my mind that can only birth sin, right? This. I saw this shiny piece of jewelry fall off of this person. The Most High must have been testing me to see if I don't know if that's exactly what we think about, right? When we think about what it is, how the ways in which the Most High is testing us to and proving us. And so when we think about the way that the Most High proves us, the way that He tempts us. It's things that causes for us to be able to further trust in what He's already done in our hearts and in our minds, and things that when we actually do trust and walk in faith, that we're able to be triumphant. What's it say here? Comment. He tries our willingness to follow after righteousness, not our carnality. Understanding the difference is very important. Yes, very much so. That's, I think, when we look at this over here in James, is it helps us to be able to understand that these things that leadeth unto sin, these things kind of begin in our own minds, right? They're birthed in our own minds, and they only lead to the pleasing of our carnality. But the things that the Most High is going to be doing in us, for us, are things that are drawing us closer to Him and that are causing us to exhibit His character. Let's look over at.
What about, they say, well, I don't even know if people still say this or not, but.
Oh, they probably, what is it?
They used to make a distinction between trial and test and.
Well, I think that is semantics. I've always thought that that's a thing of semantics, because the thing that the Most High said, don't say that your testing is for evil. Like it's like but the words that He uses is the same exact word. And so the thing that, when we make a differentiation between testing and trials and tempting, these words are all the same word,
Mhm.
but what's the motivation of it, right? What's the motivation? Um, like the way we might, like I just think about the way, like, we might say, like in the world, if somebody's trying you, in the world, right? They really want to see like what you gonna do, like, you know what I'm saying? What is you about, like? But it's tempting you to evil though. But like if I'm doing something that's going to lift you up and build you up, that's a whole different thing. But it's the same words that you would use, though. It's the difference. And so, we have these words that we want to put these connotations. We want to put them with the words, but it's like it's just something that's, just if I think about coveting,
Mhm.
right? If I have a strong desire for something, I'm coveting it. Am I sinning? No. Unless the thing that I have a strong desire for belongs to someone else. So it's the same type of a thing. We think about trying, tempting. Is it the same? Is it something that's different? When the trying is leading to something that's negative, that's outside of the scope of the Most High, then it's a bad thing. And I think that's the point that the Most High has given to James over here, is that the thing that the Most High is trying to do is build you up, is to strengthen you, is to, just get a gauge for, if you've actually been able to grasp the things that have been given to you from the Most High.
Yeah, that's right. Because along those same lines, people will say that if they, but I mean, in some respects, I feel like it's a safety net because they'll say if I fail the test, then it didn't come from him because he wouldn't give me more than I could bear. And it's meanwhile, it's like, no.
I mean, people out here failing tests out here. It's just, that's just what it is. Like, everybody's not.
You could have gotten out of it, but you decided not to.
And sometimes, people think too highly of themselves, and when they go and take the test, they find out they didn't really study that much for it. And that's just what it is. But we have to understand that the thing that the Most High will in fact do is test us. And I feel like, the more you want to say about yourself, the more he's going to test you in that specific area. If you sit up here and claim to be somebody who's strong in faith, look, I'll bet Most High gonna come and test that faith and see if your actions is gonna line up with your words. Let's look over here in the book of Sirach, chapter 2. Read verses 1 through 6 here.
My son, if thou come to serve Elohim, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Hold on. He said, if you come to serve me, then you better prepare your soul for temptation. Like, you about to get some temptation if you think that you're going to come over here and serve me. That's what he said. It's like it comes with it. Like it's a package deal. If you want to serve the Most High, it's going to be some testing, some trying. But this word here is translated as temptation. We'll keep on going.
Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Mm-hmm. Cleave unto him and...
Well, let's just talk about the idea of making haste in time of trouble. Like I said before, when we think about these troubling times, sometimes we react hastily without kind of taking time out to kind of assess the situation and do the thing that's proper and right, as opposed to moving out of emotion and like some reactionary response, right? He says, set thy heart aright, get your mind right, and constantly endure. Like you're able to constantly endure because you're going into the situation with your heart right. When you're not, reacting to things, but you're moving in a particular direction, no matter what it is that comes your way. Keep on reading verse 3.
Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire and acceptable by men in the furnace of adversity.
Very good. So when the Most High chop you down a couple levels, right? When you're changed to a low estate, when you up and he take you down, just be patient and understand that gold is tried in the fire. And so we have to go through the furnace of adversity so that we're able to come out on the other side the way that the Most High called for us to be. Looking at Israel and what it is that we see as they went into the wilderness and came out, they're totally transformed. Israel is totally transformed from the Israel that came out of Egypt, and the Israel that went into the promised land, because they were tried in the fire. Oh, read verse 6.
Believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him.
Okay, very good. Let's look at something else here. Something else I like to also look at in regards to testing, trying. Chapter 4. Read, let's see, 15 through 19.
Whoso giveth ear unto her shall judge the nations, and he that attendeth unto her shall dwell securely. If a man commit himself unto her, he shall inherit her, and his generation shall hold her in possession. For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline, until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws. Then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show him her secrets. But if he go wrong, she will forsake him, and give him over to his own ruin.
Okay, very good. So again, when we think about this, the her here is, of course, wisdom, right? And so when we think about the benefits of wisdom, right? Whosoever gives an ear unto wisdom, those people will judge the nations, right? And he that attends unto wisdom shall dwell securely, right? That's like the thesis statement, right? That's what's going to happen if you're able to walk in wisdom, right? But in order to get to the place of walking in wisdom, it's just like the other place when we looked at, we're talking about where it said, if thou come to serve Yah, prepare thy soul for temptation. If a man commits himself unto wisdom, you'll inherit it, and your generation shall hold her in possession. But the way that begins is that the first, wisdom is going to walk you by the crooked ways. And wisdom going to be like, come on down here, my man. Check this out. What you going to do over here in this situation? right? It said, and bring fear and dread upon you. It's going to take you, wisdom is going to take you into places that are fearful and dreadful and tormenting. But all of these things are for the purposes of what? Discipline, right? To cause you to know how to be, act, behave in this or that situation. And so when we think about the idea of testing, trying, these things are all so that you're able to, in fact, endure through situations. And so we've seen when we look at Abraham, we see that he done went through some things. He didn't have to go into some fearful and dreadful situations where he was obviously fearful for his life. So much so that he gave his beloved wife over to these strangers. We're able to see where Abraham, it's interesting, Abraham is almost constantly tested throughout his life. Every time we're thinking about Abraham, we read about him, there's some type of a test that he has to endure. From the very beginning, we think about all the way back in chapter 12, where the Most High tells him to leave his homeland and to be a stranger in the land of Canaan. That was a test. It was a test to see, well, you say that you're going to be this a follower of the Most High. So let's see if you'll just get up and leave from your people. A test, a trial, right? Immediately after he gets to the land, there's a famine in the land. As soon as he gets there, we could have just turned around right there and went back like, man, the Most High told me to leave. And this is what happens. I walk into this famine that's over here. And then above that, right after that happens, that's when the Egyptians then seize his wife, right? And bring her to Pharaoh, right? All of these things are right after one another. Shortly after that, we see Abraham faces the battle of the 4 and the 5 kings, right? Adversity.
You had a lot of adversity.
Adversity, right? One after another, right? He has in some internal situations when he marries Hagar after not being able to have a child with his beloved Sarah. Then he has to circumcise himself when he's old. He's got all this adversity. Hold on, you want me to do what? I'm supposed to take a knife and put it where? Then he has another situation with the king that takes away Sarah. Again, a different king. Right? All these adversities. That was 7 adversities. 8. Let's see. Oh, the Most High tells him to send Sarah away. Hagar away with his son. So now first he goes and has this Hagar situation. Now because it caused all this strife, it sends the Most High say send them away then. But in the meantime, as you doing that, in addition to that, sending Hagar away means sending your son away. And then now we get all the way over here where, we have this 10th and final thing that this adversity that we see with Abraham, where he's told to sacrifice his dear son Isaac, that he went through all this. He basically went through all of these other things just so that he could get to this place right here where it's almost like, well, all right, now it took you this long to get him Now sacrificing. But again, this test, any of these tests were never given for the purpose of injury, but always with the intent on empowering Abraham's level of resistance. Okay, when we think about resistance and electricity, right? It's the conductor's ability to allow the electricity to pass through it, right? It's going to rub the electrons, is going to rub up against the electrons, and then some of the electrons is going to fall off, right? When you go from A to B, it might be some type of a voltage drop because of the resistance, but you have conductivity happening here. And so, we want for we don't want for there to be like a negative end. We're looking for a positive end of all of this, right? Let's go over to lastly before we go to the next verse over here. Let's look at Romans real fast here. Romans 5. Hold on one second here. I read for us these first 5 verses here.
Therefore, having been declared right by belief, we have peace with Elohim through our Master Yeshua Messiah, through whom also we have access by belief into this favor in which we stand, and we exult in the expectation of the esteem of Elohim. And not only this, but we also exult in pressures, knowing that pressure works endurance, and endurance approvedness, and approvedness expectation.
Hold on, wait a second. This is interesting. Let's start again at verse 2 right here. I like the King James on this. Right?
Oh, you want King James? verse 2, you want me to start?
Yeah.
By whom also we have access by faith into this grace, wherein we stand and rejoice in the hope of the glory of Elohim. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also.
He said we glory in tribulations. We glory in we are excited almost about what does it want us to do here? What does word mean here? If I'm glorying in tribulations, I'm boasting, to vaunt in a good or bad, to boast, joy, rejoice. I'm rejoicing in tribulations. Interestingly enough, I'm not boasting about the tribulations. Let's get that straight. I'm not happy that the tribulation is happening. That's not what this is saying. But I'm able to glorify the Most High. I'm able to boast in the Almighty while I'm in the tribulations. I'm not happy that bad things are happening. Oh, I'm so happy that I'm being destroyed utterly by all of these trials and tribulations. I love bad things happening to me. That's not what this is saying. We are able to glory while we're in the tribulations. The tribulations ain't bringing me down. They're not affecting my soul because I know that I am connected to the creator and sustainer of all things. Go ahead. Also,
knowing
yes.
that tribulation worketh patience,
What
and
else?
patience experience,
Mm-hmm.
and experience hope,
Uh-huh.
and hope maketh not ashamed, because the love of Elohim is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit, which is given unto us.
Okay, very good. So, again, because of the fact that I have the Ruach HaKodesh shed abroad in my heart, I'm able to properly deal with tribulations when they come about and not look at these bad things that are happening and react to the situation. But I'm able to stand fast and know that as I'm going through this thing, it's going to help me to be able to grow patient. Grow patience. Patience is more than just waiting, by the way. Patience is more than just waiting. It's not just, I'm just learning to be able to wait for something good to happen, right? But it's about your attitude while you're waiting. Okay. Anybody, I've seen these kids, I've seen them wait wrongly. I've seen it. Just wait until such and such a time and then you can have a cookie. Right? And then all the whole time in between, is it time yet? What time is it? Is it time to have a cookie yet? Right? They're waiting, but they're not waiting properly. But patience is, I know that the time is coming and I'm just going to literally wait until that time is, right? So it's a particular attitude that you have with patience, right? And so when we think about the effects that the Ruach Hakodesh has in our hearts, in our minds, in our ability to maintain the character of the Almighty when we face these different trials and tribulations, when we look back and look at Abraham and what he was able to do, it really seems like he had a difference. There's a difference in Abraham now, between now and when we've seen him before in these other situations, particularly, as it related to him and going through these lands and being able to trust in the Most High to protect him and Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a kind of a similar situation where the one who was really closest to him was kind of put at risk, where he was forced to have to make a decision in regards to it. And so now we see this other situation that comes about where this other one that is potentially, I don't want to say that I don't know what level of connectedness he has to his son, but I can only assume that it's a great one because of all that he went through in order to get to this place. And so now this request from the Most High to give over this one that is very close to him, we're able to see the way in which he acts. And, we have to know that this is a great example of someone being able to, strive in the face of adversity. Because look at what he's asking them. Look at verse 2. Read verse 2 again.
Verse 2 again. And he said, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of.
All right, let's look at this here. Let's look at this word here in verse 2, thine only son Isaac. Thine only son. It's interesting when we look in the King James. Also, the scriptures does it there for us, also letting us know that this word son here is not in the original text. It's added for for us to be able to understand what's going on, right? It's to kind of give us more understanding as to what it's referring to. But the literal word son is missing. And so what it literally says is thine only Isaac, right? But it's talking about the only son.
Mm-hmm.
But let's look at this word here, Yahid, which means unity, that is soul, by implication, beloved, also lonely, the life, as not to be replaced, darling, desolate, only child, son, solitary. And so when we look at this word here, it's interesting. This word here, has the idea of one, of unity, of joining. Yahid comes from the word Yahad, which sounds like Echad, but is not connected to it, but has a similar meaning over here. But it is to be one, to join, to unite. And so the form of Yahad, which is Yahid, is united, like joined together, right? And so when we think about the kind of position that is placing Isaac in, again, where it says that he is his only son, it's interesting because we know that he's literally not his only son.
Mhm.
And it's interesting that there's so many descriptive words or kind of caveats to who it is that Abraham is supposed to be taking here, right? He says a few things, right? He says, take now thy son. Well, that could be, that could be multiple ones at this point, right? He said, take now thy son. Then he said, thine only son, or thy Yahid, right? Your most precious, right? The one that has been united to you, right? The one that is your beloved, whom thou lovest, right? The one that you love. Let me see something right here. Let me just see something. I saw this, but I didn't look at it. Let me just see something real quick. If we look at this word right here, Ahav, I want to see if we go down here. It looks like this is the first place where this word is even used in the Bible, in the Torah. The love, the one that thou lovest. The idea of loving something, I'm sure, existed, but the Torah don't mention that word until just right now.
Mhm.
Okay, which is interesting, because we're looking at again this unique son who is Isaac. He's not the literal only, but the word here, Yahid, gives us an idea of uniqueness, right? Something that sets him apart from the rest. We don't have to have the idea of him being the only son, right? Because the idea is that is giving is the uniqueness that exists with Isaac. That doesn't in fact exist with the other son. That literally is alive, like he's real. He's not a figment of someone's imagination, but there is a differentiation between, right? Because and we know that there's a differentiation because again he inspiration puts in all of these extra things so that we know exactly the one that he's referring to, being Isaac.
There's an exclusivity in him.
Yes, right. And so when we think about what is being asked now, when we look at the places in the scriptures, we're able to find that when you have such a one, such a Yahid, when you have such a Yahid, there is great sorrow that exists if something was to happen to this only, right? This only son. Let's look at a few examples of that here. Let's go to Zechariah. Zechariah 12. 12 verse 10. Read the 10th verse there.
12, you said 10.
Verse 10.
And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications. And they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him, as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in the bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn.
Okay, very good. So it's talking about a mourning. It's talking about the quality of the mourning. And the way that is describing it is as one that mourns for his only. Right? Just to show you that uniqueness that is, goes along with this one that the Most High is saying saying for him to purposely do something to. Like this is like a thing. Like there's a type of pain and sorrow that's associated with not just the loss of a child, but the loss of the Yahid, the only. Amos 8 and 10. Read verse 10 right there.
And I will turn your feasts into mourning, and all your songs into lamentation. And I will bring up sackcloth upon all loins, and baldness upon every head. And I will make it as the mourning of an only son, and the end thereof as a bitter day.
Okay, very good. So again, if we wanted to talk about the worst kind of mourning that there could possibly be, it would be at the loss of a Yahid. This the only son. Meanwhile, the Most High is saying, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and have you sacrifice your only. Go ahead, bring them up here to this mountain where I'm gonna show you Bring them up here to this mountain that I'm gonna show you, and go ahead and sacrifice it. Go ahead and rid yourself of your only. Now let's go back over to Genesis here because there's some other things that when we look at uh we're in verse, let's see here, in verse 2, where it says, because we're already dealing with the idea of him taking his son, his only Isaac, the one that he loves. But there's an interesting connection that we see here over here in the second part of the situation where it says, "Get thee into." In the scriptures, we see that, the Torah portion we know of as lecha, where the Most High tells Abraham to get thee out from his kindred people, right? That's the first time we see lecha in the scriptures. But the second time we see it is right here, where the Most High is saying for Abraham to go into this mountain, to this land of Moriah. It's interesting that we see that the first time that we see this in scripture is this kind of pivotal time in the life of Abraham, where he is forced to make a life-altering decision. Lecha, go out from all of your normalcy and go into the land that I'll show you, into this unknown place. Go from all of your regularity and go into this place of irregularity, right? And this is where we meet Abraham in the scripture. And so here, the second time we see this lecha, when we look over here, we see that this similar thing is going on, where it's this pivotal place. We're almost as if, what if Abraham says, "Nah, man, I ain't doing that. I did all this just to get a son. How I'm gonna do this?" Like it's this pivotal point in his life where the decision that he makes, the choice that he does at this time says whether he's going to continue with the Most High or not. Is at that level. And so it's interesting, when we look at this situation that you have, kind of bringing it all the way back to the beginning, just with the words that's being used over here, lech lecha, when he goes over to this land of Moriah to make this offering, unto the Most High. It's interesting about this place, this land of Moriah. This is a place where the temple was built. Right, this is the place where Solomon builds the temple, right, in this land of Moriah. This place where we have Abraham doing this, performing this sacrifice unto the Most High, the giving of his only over to the Most High at this place that the Most High will, in fact, put his name on. Interesting. It's interesting what we see with just the idea. We know that the Most High, at this point, by the way, there is no Torah. The law has been codified. Um, so we don't have an actual prohibition of sacrificing humans unto the Most High, right? Because he didn't say it yet. So it's interesting when we look at this, the thing that he's calling for Abraham to do over here, in this test, in this trial, he's calling for this thing that we see later in scripture turns into something that is prohibited. Now, if we believe what the writer of Hebrews says, let's go over to Hebrews. Huh?
I believe it.
Did we say what it is? You just blindly say you believe it. You just believe in it blindly. Don't even know what to say. Read let's see, 17 through 19.
By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac. And he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that Elohim was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure.
Okay, so the writer of Hebrews believes that if he was to go and take the life of his son, that the Most High was going to raise him from the dead. He had no thought in his mind that at any time was his life going to not include Isaac, except for however long it took for the Most High to raise him back up from the dead again. He said over in let's go back over to let's go back to Genesis here. Oh, hold on. What's this say here? Oh, before we go back, let's see what this says here. Yes, on Mount Moriah, the act of Abraham brings to mind. Let's see what that is here. Let's see what Psalms 24 says. 1 through 6. What did I say? Read that right there.
24 and 1 through 6. A Psalm of David. The earth.
Oh, hold on
a
second. I still got it on the KJV. Let's put it back on scriptures. Okay, go ahead.
The earth belongs to Yahweh, and all that fills it, the world and those who dwell in it. For he has founded it upon the seas, and upon the waters he does establish it. Who does go up into the mountain of Yahweh, and who does stand in his set apart place? He who has innocent hands and a clean heart, who did not bring his life to naught and did not swear deceivingly. He receives a blessing from Yahweh and righteousness from the Elohim of his deliverance.
Very good. So we see over here really that the Most High is testing the heart of Abraham. What's in his heart? Is he really going to do that which the Most High calls for him to be doing, no matter what? In any situation, is he going to always do what thus says the Most High? Is he going to do it? Seems like he's gonna do it. Let's go back over here. Reverse 5 again for us here.
So Abraham said to his young men, "Stay here with the donkey while the boy and I go over there and worship and come back to you."
Now, the Most High didn't say nothing about what Abraham is talking about over here. I mean, we know that sacrifice, that giving an offering is worship. But if the boy actually is the sacrifice, if he's the actual article of the worship, what's he talking about when he says that we coming back to you? The boy and I are coming back to you. We are coming back to you. We will return.
Plural.
Right? And so Abraham, all he's going to do is just do what the Most High said, but in his heart, in his mind, he believes that him and Isaac are coming back. He believes that no matter what happens, him and Isaac are going to return. He has an amount of faith that goes beyond what seems physically possible. He's no longer looking at the capabilities of the flesh anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer looking at what is physically possible. He's looking at what it is that the Most High is able to do, because he's got to deal with what the Most High promised him. The Most High already promised him that his seed was going to be great, but not just generally speaking, but that his seed was going to be great through Sarah, and the seed was going to be called Isaac. And they got an Isaac right here. And so he got to deal with these facts that he knows. He already knows what the Most High said. And so again, when he speaks to these men that is traveling with him and tells them that we gonna be back, it's helping us to be able to understand the level of faith that exists with Abraham, with what it is that the Most High is called for him to be doing. Mm-hmm. It's letting us know that he knows what the Most High is going to do for them in this situation. Mm-hmm. And so even though they didn't take no lamb up there with them, they didn't take no goat up there with them, he knows that whatever is going to happen, which he don't know what's going to happen, is going to be in his favor. And I'm saying, do we walk around with this kind of faith? Because he don't know what the end's going to be. He don't know what the end's going to be. He don't see the answers. Like, it's easy for us to go and, I got this bill I got to pay. I got the money over here, but I know that there's about to be this other bill that's about to come in, and when's there going to be more money coming? And so to pay the bill without no money coming is not really connected to a physical thing, right? But then if you got the money, if you could physically see this other money over there, then you could just say, oh, I'll just pay this one because I got this other money that's right over here that I'm going to pay, right? You feel better about depleting your storehouse if you already know that there's more stuff getting ready to go into the storehouse. But if you don't know, if you don't know, right now you got this element of unsurety. What's going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen, right? Because you don't see, all of the pieces, put together. And so Abraham's in the situation where the Most High saying go, but he's done it before. The first time we seen Lech Lecha, we see where the Most High tells Abraham to go. He just says go, but he don't say where. He don't know what the specifics of the story that is about to be created, but he goes anyway.
Mm.
And so when we look over here with this whole situation with him being told to go and sacrifice his only unto the Most High, give me the thing that you love the most. He said to Abraham, get this thing that I've given you, give it back to me. The thing that you love the most that I've given to you, give it back to me.
Mm.
And we have to be at this place. We have to be able to trust the Most High so much that the things that we love the most, we have to give those things over unto the Most High. I mean, this is a lesson in putting the Most High first over here. He don't want nothing to be between him and you. Nothing. Right? Where Abraham could have been like, no, I'm not doing that. There's no way that I'm going to sacrifice my own child for you. But when we think about the way that some people are out here, we put our children above the Most High. And it don't even be situations of death. It don't be life and death. It just be regular old stuff. Like, am I going to deny my child to have this or that for the Sabbath? I'm going to let my child just do whatever he wants because I love him in spite of what the Most High said. We got the same tests that Abraham has had. We go through these same things with our children. But are we going to put the Most High first? Are we going to stand on the principles that were put in place by the Almighty? Or are we going to say, the wants and needs and desires of our children come first above that? Abraham said no. Let's look over at John. John 19. Read verses 16 through 18.
At that time, then he delivered him to be impaled, or he delivered him to them to be impaled. And they took Yeshua and led him away. And bearing his stake, he went out to the so-called place of a skull, which is called in Hebrew Golgotha, where they impaled him and two others with him, and on this side and on that, and one on that side, and Yeshua in the middle.
Yeshua carried his torture stake, just like Isaac did. Isaac carried the wood that he was going to be offered on. He carried it up there to the place where he was going to be offered. Just like Yeshua did. He said he bore his stake. The stake that he was going to be impaled on. But look at what Yeshua says over here in Luke 14. Luke 14. Read verse 27.
27. And whoever does not bear his stake and come after me is unable to be my taught one.
If you're not able to sacrifice whatever, right? Parentheses, you fill in the blanks. If you're not able to sacrifice whatever and come after me, Yeshua, you're unable to be his taught one. If you can't set aside blank and follow after Yeshua, if you can't carry that thing up to the altar and leave it there, then you are unable to be a disciple of the master. Period. We take so many things and put them in front. We're so devout, and we are disciples, sons and daughters of the Most High, followers of the Master. Except for this one thing. But Abraham, the thing that be that one thing for the most people, his very own child, he said, He said, no. I can't put this child in front of my relationship with the creator and sustainer of the Most High. I'm just going to go ahead and kill him. It don't matter. The Most High going to bring him back. That's what he thought in his mind. Well, that's what the writer of Hebrews thought in his mind. What we know for a matter of fact that Abraham thought is no matter what happens on top of this mountain, Isaac is coming back with me. That's what he thought. He didn't know what. And so he was willing to sacrifice the thing that meant the most to him for the sake of the Most High. And I'm saying Abraham's teaching us, he's trying to teach us a lesson over here. Can we learn it? Can we learn the lesson? Can we learn that the Most High don't want for us to put nothing in front of him? That's in fact idolatry. We out here idolizing things and putting them in a position that only belongs to the Most High. Abraham passed the test, right? He picked up his torture stake and he followed after the Most High. Let's go back over it. Let's see. Go put your little comments in the comment section. Go ahead. We want to hear what you got to say about it. All right, let's keep on going over here. Isaac is a little confused. Read verse 7 again.
And Yitzchak spoke to Abraham, his father, and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am, my son." And he said, "See the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for an ascending offering?"
What's going on? You said we're going up here to sacrifice. We got fire. Check. We got wood. Check. Where the thing we gonna actually sacrifice? Where that thing at? I wonder at this point, was he like, well, it's you. I wonder if he knew like the whole time, Abraham was going, because this ain't Isaac's test over here, it's Abraham's test. I wonder if Isaac is even knowing. Like, hold on, you tie me down to this thing over here. We supposed to be tying the lamb down. Like, what's going on? Like, but even here we see this. We see look at what Abraham does over here, right? Abraham says Elohim does provide for himself the lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's letting him know. He's probably letting him know as he's strapping them down. Yahweh will provide. Yah will provide. And so the son is able to trust in the father so much so that whatever it is that he said as it relates to the Most High, it must be true, because daddy ain't gonna sit up here and just have me, doing all of this. Like, and so it's interesting that we see this dynamic here, because again, like if it was me as a young person, I'm like, well, what is this? Like, we got all this, we got the rope and we got the wood and we got the fire, but and you tie me up as if I'm the thing. He binds him up. It's in verse 9 that he bound Isaac his son and laid him on the slaughter place upon the wood. It don't talk about Isaac's yells. Was he like crying or screaming at this point? Like, he's about to do the deed. He's got his hand up in the air, like with a knife. He's about to slay him. And then right when he do that, it says that the angel came and stopped him from doing it. Right? Just like Abraham knew was going to happen. Well, maybe not just like, he didn't know exactly what was going to happen. But he just was going through the most I said, that's what he's supposed to do, and he did it. Right? Whatever that thing was. Right? He did it. And so now, after he does it, after he got him all tied up, he probably got the fire going, getting ready to blaze it up underneath and all of that. And then the angel comes in and stops him from doing it. And right at the same time, he looks over and sees this ram that's just stuck over in the bush. Did it just get stuck in the bush, or was it there the whole time? That's when he saw it, right? He saw it, and he goes and he gets it and calls this place Yahweh Yireh, because he's on this mountain where Yahweh provides. And so it's interesting that when we look at this situation that happens with Abraham, with the instructions that are given to Abraham from the Most High, the whole time Abraham is saying, Yah will provide. Right? When he says to the men that him and his son gonna be back, he's saying that Yah will provide. I don't even know if he told Sarah that he was going in the first place. He probably snuck off while she was still asleep, because it started off as, he left out early in the morning, right? She was probably still in the bed, sleep. She'd have probably lost her mind. Not my baby, my baby. They even tell Sarah they is leaving out, right? But the whole time, the Most High, Abraham, trusting in the Most High, saying that Yah will provide. We have to live our lives along these lines, knowing that the thing that the Most High said he was going to do, he's going to do it. Because many times we go through life, through this whole life that we live, we have to at some point say to ourselves, the Most High said that he was going to do it. And so therefore I got to do thus and so. This is how we live our lives. We live our lives based on faith in what the Most High said he was going to do through his son, Yeshua. And so we can't always see what it is that the end of the story. But we have to know that because of who the Most High is, and because of the fact that he already said, because he already said what he was going to do, we have to be able to believe in his words that he already spoke and live our lives according to that, not according to what we see him doing, but according to what he already said he was going to do.
That's right. I mean, whatever he said is going to happen, it has to come to pass. So we gotta just pay attention to what he's saying.
Yeah. I mean, Sarah might have had a heart attack or something. Because you're right, she does die in the next chapter. She dies. She might have just had a heart attack. You're killing my baby. I got that. I don't know what happened to her. It don't really say. It says she dies. But anyway, here I want to look at let's see. I want to look at here. Let's go to 1 Peter. First Peter, read 3. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 3. Read down to verse 7.
Blessed be the Elohim and the Father of our Master Yeshua Messiah, who according to his great compassion has caused us to be born again to a living expectation through the resurrection of Yeshua Messiah from the dead.
Okay, hold on right there. If you just stop right there, we're talking about, right? It says, according to his great compassion has caused us to be born again to a living expectation. A living expectation. We're living now and we're expecting something else that's down the line, that's connected to the fact that the Most High Son, Yeshua, resurrected from the dead. But because he rose from the dead, we know that we shall also rise from the dead. But we didn't rise up yet. Like, we still walking around. Right? And so, but we are living this life that is about this expectation, this thing that didn't happen yet, but we're living our lives as if in our minds we know that it will happen. Just like Abraham knew what was going to happen, but didn't see it, but he knew it, right? Verse 4.
Verse 4, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled and unfading, having been kept in the heavens for you.
We got something that's not going to fade, that can't be corrupted, that's undefiled, right? That's kept for us in the heavens, right? We have this living expectation of this incorruptible, undefiled, unfading thing that's kept for us. We live our lives with this hope of this thing that we've never seen. Verse 5.
Verse 5 says, who are protected by the power of Elohim through belief, or deliverance ready to be revealed in the last time.
Look, we're talking about this faith and this deliverance that hasn't been revealed. is ready to be revealed in the last times, but it hasn't been revealed. Right? Because we have a spiritual deliverance that takes place in us when we receive the Ruach HaKodesh, but we're physically over here bound to this place where we are. But we have this expectation of this inheritance that we haven't yet physically received, but we walk in faith through the power of the Ruach HaKodesh every day. And we have this expectation, this thing that we cannot see with our physical eyes, just like Abraham. Just like Abraham couldn't see the end, but he knew the end, even though he couldn't see it. Okay, keep on going, verse 6.
In which you exult, even though for a little while, if need be, you have been grieved by manifold trials.
Them trials that you go through, it don't stop you. It said even though for a little while. You in the trial for a little while, but it don't stop you. You still understand that all of the things that got you to the place where you are currently, all of those things are still true. You just got these little hiccups that are going on, these little trials and tribulations but we're able to, as I said in the other verse that we looked at, we're able to glory in those things. Right? Okay, keep on going. Verse 7. What's verse 7?
In order that the proving of your belief, much more precious than gold that perishes and proven by life, might be found to result in praise and respect and esteem at the revelation of Yeshua Messiah.
Okay, very good. So again, we're able to walk through this life, enduring our manifold trials and not allow for the things that we go through in this life, the things that we're able to physically see, the things that could potentially cause us to turn around. We don't allow for those things to hinder us, and we maintain our faith just like Abraham did, and we walk in by faith and not by sight. Abraham understood Mark. What's that say? What's Mark 10 and 29 and 30 say? What's that? Mark 10, 29. What's that say?
Yeshua said, "Truly I say to you, there is no one who has left house who has left house or brothers or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for the sake of me and the good news, who shall not receive 100-fold now in this time, houses and brothers and sisters and mothers and children and lands with persecutions, and in that age to come everlasting life."
Just read that one too.
But many who are first shall be last, and the last first.
And so we can't allow for our right now to be the thing that defines our entire situation, because we again have to understand that the Most High is refining us. The Most High is causing for us to be the sons and the daughters that he has called for us to be, and we have to endure these persecutions, right? So that we're able to make it to the end. And so when we look at our situation, understanding that sometimes, our physical families, have to be put behind, right? Because they are not walking according to the ways of the master. And so again, we looked at Abraham, and where Abraham, you know, the Most High had given him this most precious gift of a son, his only son, and this thing that the Most High had given to him. But yet and still, the Most High called for Abraham to be sure not to place that thing above the Almighty. And that's what he did. Abraham was able to keep the Most High on his throne the whole time and be obedient to the will of the Most High. And then he was, in fact, blessed there as a result of it. All right, let's go down a little bit more before we stop here. Again, we saw where it talks about the fact that Abraham, calls this place Yahweh Yireh because of the fact that he provides. And then if we go down to verse 15, read again 15 through 18.
15 through 18. And the messenger of Yahweh called to Abraham a second time from the heavens and said, "By myself I have sworn, declares Yahweh, because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, that I shall certainly bless you, and I shall certainly increase your seed as the stars of the heavens and as the sand which is on the seashore, and let your seed possess the gate of their enemies. And in your seed, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice."
Okay, very good. So we see over here kind of a retelling, a restating, a reaffirming of the covenant that he made with Abraham, that the Most High made with Abraham. The Most High already said that he was going to do these things over here for him. But I guarantee you, if Abraham wouldn't have went up here and did this thing right here, he wouldn't be reaffirming this covenant with him. He said because you have done this and have not withheld your son, that I will certainly bless you. Now I'm gonna bless you. I said all them times I was gonna bless you whenever I said it before. I said it all them other times. I said I was gonna do it. But now I'm gonna certainly bless you. Because of him continuing to walk in faith. And so we got to know this thing ain't just about this ain't like you paid your admission at the amusement park and now you in here. You got your ticket and you good. Because I'm here to tell you, I've been thrown out of an amusement park before. I paid my admission, but I was thrown out of an amusement park. I had to get out. Right? Me and a friend of mine, we decided we was going to go to the amusement park on just a random day. Just a random day. Not our neighborhood day, but it was like some other neighborhood, some different kind of people's neighborhood. And so we just, we had at that time you could go to general admission at Kennywood. You could buy just a general admission and pay your general admission and get into the park. And with those tickets, you got free reign of the whole park. You could go all over the place. And then you could buy little tickets. And then with those tickets, you could get on whatever ride. Like some rides is 5 tickets, some rides is 3 tickets or whatever.
That was a different type of don't do that anymore.
No, they don't got general admission anymore. And so we walking around. Next thing we know, the security guards of the amusement park come up and say, "We had some complaints that you two guys have been harassing people in the park, and you got to get out." And we looking at each other like, "What are you talking about? We got to get out." Like, we paid our money. We ain't even talked to nobody but each other the whole time because we didn't really know nobody. We came in, just random to the park. And then all of a sudden the security start grabbing me up, and they went and grabbed my buddy up, and they took him down to the ground like, and they like accosted him down. And they the police people, I got one on each side of me, and they got him down on the ground. They pick him back up. They take us all the way to the door and kick us out because somebody said that we wasn't following the rules. I mean, it was a lie. We was following the rules, but there was still stipulations to us being in them people's park. And whenever they decided that we wasn't fit to be in there anymore, they put us out. And so you think that the Most High is not as serious about his situation, more than Kenny would? We can't just be living any old kind of way and say, well, I paid my admission, I got in, and just do whatever it is that we want to do. The Most High said to Abraham all of this stuff that he said over here in verse 16 and 17 and 18. He said to him already 2 or 3 times already. But he said, because of what you've done just right now I'm going to bless you. And so we got to know that when we wake up every day, we could potentially go outside of the will of the Most High and live a life and continue outside of the will of the Most High, and him just be done with us because of the fact that we chose at some point to walk in another direction. Like, we can't think that that we're in a safe place where we no longer have to think about our actions. Abraham had to know that the Most High was continuing to deal with him and was continually expecting more from him. And we've seen over here where Abraham was given specific instructions from the Most High, and it was necessary for him to carry out those instructions. The Most High called us out of darkness. He called us out of the world. He calls for us to be connected to his son Yeshua, and for us to continually walk according to the will of the Most High. When we decide, for whatever reason, that we know better than Messiah, that same time that we decide that, we seal our fate. It don't matter what the Most High has said to us previously. It's all about your right now. Because we see now over here with Abraham, he already said these things to him. He already said that his seed was going to be great. He already said that he was going to be blessed among, the everything that was blessed. You was going to be blessed above it. But it was still necessary for Abraham to continue in faith. And so, we can't think that we're done out here. right? We have to continue to strive to walk in righteousness. We have to continue to add to our situation. You know, we can't sit up here and think that we have all knowledge. And so because we don't have all knowledge, it's always necessary for us to be seeking to understand the Most High's word better, so that we're able to be sure that we're lined up with it properly. You know, because he shows us through his word the way that we're supposed to be living our lives. And unless we're perfect beings out here, there's always going to be room for improvement. And so we have to continue to walk and strive and, you know, live to be the best that we're able to be, so that we're able to receive you know, that crown that's been that's waiting for us in the heavens, as it says. But this, you know, that requires us continuing to walk in the spirit and live a life according to the leading and guiding of the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay, so does anyone have any thoughts, questions, comments before we go ahead and be done over here for this week? Okay, that being said, we will then say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Yahweh will be back on next week to continue with our look at the triennial Torah portion. Yah willing, each one of you will have a blessed week. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat for today. And we will see you on next week.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.